I never thought the day my son, Adam, slammed the door on his closet would crack open the one I'd buried under 30 years of pretending. "Dad, I'm gay," he said, his voice breaking like thunder in our cramped kitchen in suburban Boston. The kind of announcement that hangs in the air heavier than the nor'easter brewing outside. And just like that, the life I'd built on silence shattered. Because standing there with my coffee mug frozen mid-sip, I realized it wasn't just his secret spilling out, it was mine, too, clawing its way back from the grave. The rain pounded the windows like it was trying to drown out the words. But Adam's eyes, those fierce blue ones he'd gotten from his mother, locked onto mine, daring me to flinch. I didn't. God, I wanted to wrap him up like I did when he was 5 and skinned his knee on the Little League field. But my arms stayed glued to my sides. Traitors to the man I'd become, Nathaniel Hayes. 48, widower, high school history teacher, pillar of the PDA in this cookie-cutter neighborhood where everyone knew your business but pretended not to. Okay, I finally managed, my throat tight as a noose. "Okay, kid, we're going to figure this out." He laughed then, a sharp, bitter sound that sliced right through me. "Figure it out? Dad, I've been figuring it out alone for years. While you were busy being Mr. Perfect husband and father." The accusation landed like a punch, and I deserved it. Sarah had been gone 3 years now. Cancer, quick and merciless, and in the aftermath, Adam and I had danced around each other like ghosts in our colonial two-story on Elm Street. I'd buried myself in lesson plans about the American Revolution, pretending the battles of my own past were ancient history. But Adam, he'd been fighting his war in silence, and I'd been too chicken shit to notice the signs, the way he'd linger over photos of those boy band heartthrobs, or how he'd come home from college parties with that hollow look in his eyes, the one that said rejection tasted like ash. We talked that night until the storm broke, huddled at the Formica table with mugs of reheated cocoa going cold. He told me about Jake, the roommate at UMass who'd ghosted him after a fumbling kiss in the dorms, about the hookups that left him feeling more invisible than ever, about the fear that in a world screaming love is love, he'd still end up alone because who wants a gay kid from a straight-laced family like ours? I listened, nodding, my heart twisting because every word was a mirror to my own youth. But I didn't say that. Not yet. Instead, I promised him the world, therapy if he wanted it, a pride flag for the front porch come June. Hell, even a road trip to Provincetown where he could breathe without the weight of our neighbor's side eyes. By dawn, we'd forged a fragile truce. He hugged me awkwardly, man hugs, all back slaps and averted eyes, and headed to a shift at the coffee shop downtown. I watched his taillights disappear into the gray morning, then sank onto the couch, staring at the faded photo on the mantel, Sarah radiant in her wedding gown, me in that ill-fitting tux, both of us grinning like we'd cracked the code to forever. She'd known, of course. Not everything, but enough. Nate, she'd whispered on our honeymoon in the Berkshires, her fingers tracing the scar on my knuckle from a bar fight I never talked about. You don't have to carry it all, but I had. For her. For Adam. For the version of America that said men like me didn't get happily ever afters with anyone but a wife and a white picket fence. Teaching that day was hell. My seniors droned through essays on the founding fathers' hypocrisy, irony not lost on me, as my mind replayed Adam's confession like a bad loop. By last period, I was raw, snapping at a kid for doodling instead of debating the Bill of Rights. Pay attention, I barked, and the class went silent, staring at the man who'd always been the steady one, the guy who brought in Revolutionary War replicas for show and tell. I apologized after the bell, but the damage lingered, a reminder that cracks show whether you want them to or not. Driving home through the slushy streets, I swung by the cemetery on a whim. Sarah's stone was dusted with fresh snow. Her name etched simple and strong. Sarah Hayes, beloved wife and mother. I knelt there, breath fogging the air, and spilled it all in a whisper, the fear that loving Adam meant facing my own truths, the guilt that I'd modeled a life of half measures. What do I do? Sar, he's braver than I ever was. The wind whipped through the pines, carrying no answers, just the distant hum of I-95 and the ache of what-ifs. That evening, Adam came home buzzing, a rare smile cracking his face. Hey, Dad, you remember that old jazz record you used to play? The one with the trumpet solos? I did, Miles Davis. The vinyl Sarah and I scavenged from a yard sale in Cambridge. Found a gig, he said, tossing his apron on the counter. Open mic at this bar in the South End. Gay-friendly spot. You want to come? Moral support and all. My stomach flipped. The South End, Boston's enclave of rainbow flags and leather bars, where I'd once lost myself in a haze of stolen nights before Sarah's steady hand pulled me back to solid ground. Yeah, I said, forcing casual. Sound good. Pizza first. We ate in front of the TV. Some mindless cop, show flickering ignored. The tension from last night softened by pepperoni and small talk about his poli-sci major. But as we bundled into coats against the chill, I felt it a pull, like gravity shifting underfoot. Stepping into the bar was like time traveling, dim lights strung like stars. The low thrum of a saxophone weaving through chatter. Men of all stripes laughing easy over craft beers. Adam scanned the room, nerves jangling, but I hung back by the door, scanning faces out of habit. And then I saw him. Ethan. God, no, not here. Not now. He was at the bar, nursing a whiskey neat, his dark hair threaded with silver, laugh lines etching the corners of those hazel eyes I'd once drowned in. 30 years hadn't dulled him. If anything, time had carved him sharper, more magnetic, like a blade honed by regret. Our eyes met across the haze, and the world narrowed to that single, impossible beat, his glass pausing mid-lift, my breath catching like a thief in the night. Nate, Adam's voice yanked me back, his hand on my arm. You okay? You look like you saw a ghost. I forced a nod, swallowing the lie. Just crowded in here. Let's grab a table. But Ethan was already moving, weaving through the crowd with that predatory grace I remembered from stolen weekends in Vermont cabins. His smile tentative, like he wasn't sure if I'd bolt or swing. Nathaniel Hayes, he said when he reached us, voice low and warm, laced with that New York edge he'd never shaken. Of all the gin joints, Adam glanced between us, brow furrowing. Friend of yours? Dad. Ethan extended a hand, his grip firm on Adam's. Old one. Ethan Caldwell. Your dad's. Well, we go way back. College, actually. What are you drinking? Kid, on me. The ease of it, the way he slotted in, ordering rounds like no decades had passed, set my teeth on edge. Adam warmed quick, chatting about the open mic, oblivious to the undercurrent crackling like live wire. I nursed my beer, hyper-aware of Ethan's knee brushing mine under the table. The casual stories he spun about his life in Manhattan. Architect now. Divorced from a woman who'd figured out too late. No kids but a rescue dog named Scout. Lies by omission. All of it. He didn't mention the summer of '94, when we'd driven cross-country in a beat-up Mustang, making love under Wyoming stars until the fear caught up and he left me in a Reno diner with a note. I can't do this to you. Or us. Forgive me someday. Forgive him? I tried. Buried it under vows to Sarah, under Adam's first cries in a delivery room that smelled of bleach and hope. But here he was, flesh and blood, stirring the silt I'd let settle. Adam took the stage eventually, voice shaky on a folk tune about hidden hearts, and the room hushed, captivated. Ethan leaned in during the applause, his breath ghosting my ear. He's got your fire, Nate, and your eyes. I jerked away, heat flooding my face, not from flattery, but fury. How dare he waltz back in, dredging up a past that could unravel everything we spilled out into the night after. Adam buoyant on whiskey and validation, Ethan trailing like a shadow. Walk you home, he offered, and I wanted to say no, to shield Adam from this Pandora's box. But my son was grinning, clapping Ethan's back like they'd bonded over bad karaoke. The streets glistened under street lamps, holiday lights twinkling premature in shop windows. And as we turned onto our block, tree-lined, all-American normalcy, Ethan stopped short at the side of our house. This it? The Hayes homestead? Yeah, Adam said proudly. Mom picked it out. Dad's kept it standing. Ethan's gaze lingered on me, heavy with unspoken history. Some things are worth preserving. He hugged Adam goodbye, brotherly. Safe, then turned to me, closer than propriety allowed. Coffee tomorrow? Catch up. For old times, I should have refused. But the hook of his smile, the echo of what ifs, pulled taut. Fine. The diner on Mass Avenue. 9 sharp, as he vanished into the dark. Adam slung an arm around my shoulders. Cool guy. Your old buddy. Kinda hot for a fossil. He laughed, but I heard the probe in it. The kid testing waters. You never mentioned him. Ancient history, I muttered, unlocking the door. But as we stepped inside, the house felt smaller, secrets pressing at the walls like damp rot. That night, sleep evaded me, dreams tangled with Ethan's laugh and Sarah's knowing eyes. Adam's voice a distant plea. Figure it out. Dad, figure it out. The diner smelled of grease and nostalgia. Formica counters scarred from decades of hash browns and heartbreak confessions. I slid into the booth at 9 on the dot, heart hammering like I'd chugged a double espresso instead of nursing black coffee. Ethan arrived 5 minutes late, shaking rain from his wool coat, that sheepish grin disarming as ever. Traffic from the T, he said, sliding in opposite me. You look good, Nate. Tired, but good. Fatherhood suits you. Don't, I cut in, voice low to avoid the waitress's curious glance. She was the type who'd gossip at bingo night, small-town transplant in the big city, hungry for stories. No small talk. Why are you here? Really? He stirred sugar into his coffee. 3 packets. Just like back then, his eyes steady on mine. Saw your post on Facebook last month. Adam's graduation pic. Thought about reaching out, then chickened out. Last night, fate, or whatever you want to call it. Knocked me sideways seeing you. Facebook. Of course. I'd posted it impulsively. Adam in cap and gown, arms around me. Both of us beaming under a sky too blue for the ache in my chest. Sarah's absence a ghost in every frame. Fate, I echoed. Bitter. You left. Ethan. Drove off into the sunset while I picked up the pieces. Now you show up like it's a rom-com reunion. His jaw tightened. The lines deepening. I know. God, I know. I was 22. Scared shitless. My folks would have disowned me, hell. Yours too. And you. You had dreams. Nate. Law school. The white picket life. I figured I'd ruin you. You did anyway. The words slipped out, raw and unfiltered, and the diner faded, the clink of silverware. The hiss of the grill, leaving just us, 2 men dissecting a corpse 3 decades cold. I told him then, haltingly, about Sarah, how we'd met at a mutual friend's wedding, her laugh cutting through my fog like sunlight, how she'd become my anchor, the one who saw the fractures and loved me anyway. She knew about us. Not details, but enough. Said I deserve joy, not just survival. Ethan's hand twitched across the table, as if to bridge the gap, but he pulled back. I'm sorry. For her. For everything. He paused, gaze dropping to his mug. After I left, I tried straight. Married Lisa in '99, high school sweetheart redux. Lasted 12 years. Kids weren't in the cards. Thank God. When it blew up, I came out. For real. Build a life in the village. Therapy. Pride parades. The whole rainbow capitalist dream. A wry smile. But you? I've checked in over the years. Alumni newsletters. That one article in the Globe about your Civil War exhibit at the museum. Proud of you. The flattery stung. A barb wrapped in velvet. Don't. Adam came out 2 nights ago. Blindsided me. And now you're here, stirring shit up when he's finally trusting me to have his back. His eyes widened. Genuine surprise, softening the edges. Adam's gay? Damn. That's huge. Nate. You tell him yet? About us? Hell no. The denial came fierce. Protective. He's got enough on his plate. College apps. That barista gig barely paying rent on his dreams. Last thing he needs is his old man confessing he was a closeted queer who let his first love ghost him. Ethan leaned forward, voice dropping to a conspiratorial hush. But maybe he does. Kids like us, we sniff out the fakes. If you're going to be his rock, own it. All of it. The bell over the door jingled. Pulling my gaze, a family piling in. Mom herding toddlers. Dad juggling briefcases and backpacks. The American dream in miniature. The one I'd mimicked to perfection. Nausea rose, sharp and sudden. Easy for you to say. You ran. I stayed. Built something real. Sarah, Adam, they're my legacy. You just. A what if? He flinched, but held steady. Fair. But what if it's not too late for more? Dinner tonight. Neutral ground. Let me make amends. For Adam's sake, if not yours. I should have walked out. Instead, I nodded, the hook sinking deeper. Fine. But boundaries. Ethan. No history lessons. The day blurred after that, grading papers on Manifest Destiny with shaking hands. Dodging texts from Adam about his latest crush, a bar regular with tattoos and a poetry slam habit. By evening, I was frayed, pulling on a button-down that smelled faintly of Sarah's lavender, questioning every choice. Dinner was at a bistro in Back Bay, exposed brick and candlelight, the kind of place couples went to whisper futures. Ethan was already there, charming the host, but his eyes lit when he saw me, a flicker of the boy who'd once dragged me to midnight screenings of Brokeback Mountain bootlegs. We talked safe at first, Adam's music, my tenure battles at the school, his firm designing eco-homes for tech bros in Brooklyn. Wine loosened tongues, those stories of near misses, the what-ifs we'd both collected like scars. Remember that road trip? He said, voice thick. Yellowstone. The guys are going off at dawn. You said it felt like us. Beautiful. But bound to blow. I did. Too well. The memory flooded. His head on my chest under a wool blanket. Stars wheeling overhead. The world vast and forgiving. We were idiots, I said softly. Thought love could outrun fear. It can, he countered, hand covering mine across the white tablecloth. The touch sparked, electric and forbidden. And for a heartbeat, I let it linger, 30 years dissolving in that warmth. Then reality crashed back, Adam's face. Trusting, Sarah's stone, silent accusation. I pulled away, chair scraping loud. I can't. This us, it's a grenade. Ethan. Pulled a pin, and everything blows. He nodded, pain etching deep. I get it. But Nate. Life's not a history book. You can rewrite the ending. I left him there. The bill split like a divorce. Walking the Freedom Trail alone under sodium lights. Paul Revere's house loomed, a relic of rebellion, mocking my caution. Home was dark when I arrived, Adam out with friends. Thank God, and I poured a scotch, sinking into the study where Sarah's books lined the shelves. Her favorite, the Joy Luck Club, dog-eared at the mother-daughter secrets. I traced the spine, whispering apologies to the empty room. But as the liquor burned, so did resolve. Tomorrow, I'd tell Adam. Partial truth, at least, that his dad had loved a man once. That coming out was a war worth fighting. Sleep came fitful, dreams of geysers erupting, burying us alive. Adam was in the kitchen when I woke, flipping pancakes with a vengeance, the sizzle masking whatever storm brewed behind his eyes. Morning, sunshine, he quipped, sliding a plate my way, burn edges, but the gesture golden. Late night, you smell like a winery. Client dinner, I lied smoothly, forking into the mess. Guilt twisted immediate, but the words stuck. Not yet. Not like this. How's the poetry guy? He shrugged, avoiding my gaze. Syrup pooling untouched. Turns out he's bi-curious at best. Another straight boy playing dress-up. The casual hurt in it gutted me. Echoes of my own college fumblings. Rebuffed in frat house bathrooms. Why's it always got to be a game? Dad? Like, I lay it out there, hard on sleeve, and they bail. Because the world's full of cowards, I said, sharper than intended. Doesn't make you less. It makes them. He looked up then, searching my face, and I saw it, the probe, deeper now. You sound like you know. From experience, the opening gaped, a chasm begging to be crossed. Heart pounding, I set down my fork. Adam. Yeah, I do. The confession tumbled halting, vague at first, then sharper, the crushes in high school locker rooms. The summer with Ethan as a revelation and a ruin. I loved him. Deep. But I buried it. For your mom. For you. For this life we built. It wasn't fair to any of us. But it was what I thought I had to do. His fork clattered. Eyes wide, not shock. But something fiercer. Betrayal laced with recognition. You? Gay. And you never said shit? While I was dying inside. Thinking I was the family freak. He stood, chair toppling, voice rising to crack. Mom knew, and she let you play house? What the hell? Dad? Was I just collateral? No. Panic surged. Me rising too. Hands outstretched. You were everything. Still are. I hid it to protect you from whispers, from losing what little normal we had after Mom. Normal. He laughed. Hysterical. Tears streaking. You think hiding makes normal? I idolized you. Dad. Mister. Integrity. Teaching kids about truth and revolution. And you were lying to my face every damn day. He grabbed his keys, storming for the door. Don't follow me. The slam echoed like a gunshot, leaving me in ruins amid cooling pancakes. I sank to the floor, back to cabinets, sobs racking silent and savage. Sarah's voice haunted. You don't have to carry it all. But I had, and now the weight crushed my boy. Hours blurred, pacing, calling his phone to voicemail. Text unread. By noon, desperation clawed. I drove to the coffee shop, but his boss said he called out. The South End bar? Closed for lunch. Panic mounting, I texted Ethan, need advice. Adam knows. Freaking out, then regretted it, deleting before send. This was my mess. Dusk fell early, winter's grip tightening, when the doorbell rang. Not Adam, worse. Ethan's rental car idled curbside, him on the porch, coat dusted with flurries. Saw your text. Or, The unsent one. Figured. Stalking now, I snapped, but stepped aside, the fight draining. He entered hesitant, shedding snow like old skin, eyes scanning the living room, family photos, Sarah's quilt draped casual, Adam's guitar prop forgotten. Tell me, he said simply, perching on the arm of the couch. I did, the breakfast implosion, Adam's rage, the chasm I carved with good intentions. Ethan listened, no interruptions, his presence a balm and a burn. When I finished, hoarse, he sighed. You did right, Nate. Hard, but right. He'll come around. Kids forgive what we can't. Not this, I whispered, burying face in hands. He sees me as the hypocrite now, the liar who raised him to be brave while I cowered. Ethan shifted, kneeling before me, hands on my knees, steady, unyielding. Then show him different. Be the brave one now. His thumb brushed my knuckles, a spar jumping, and I didn't pull away. Not this time. The air thickened, charged, his face inches from mine, breath mingling warm. Let me help. For real, the kiss happened slow, inevitable like coming home after exile. His lips soft, tasting of mint and regret, my hands fisting his shirt as decades dissolved. It wasn't fire, but embers reigniting, tender, aching, a reclamation. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed, the world outside forgotten, until tires crunch gravel. Headlights pierce curtains, Adam's beat-up Civic, pulling erratic into the drive. Ethan froze, pulling back, but too late. The door flew open, Adam silhouetted, keys jangling. Dad? Oh God. He saw everything, us disheveled, the intimacy screaming. You son of a bitch, he snarled, advancing. Not even a day. You dropped this bomb, and you're already, with him, the ghost you pined for while Mom rotted. Adam, wait, I lunged, but he wheeled, eyes wild. No, you're disgusting. Both of you. Playing house like I don't exist. He hurled his mug, cold coffee splattering walls, then bolted upstairs, door slamming seismic. Ethan rose, guilt etching deep. I should go, yeah, but as he reached the door, I gripped his arm. Thank you for seeing me. He nodded, squeezing back. Call when the dust settles. I'm not running this time. Alone. I climbed to Adam's room, knocking soft. Silence, then muffled sobs. Kid, please. The lock clicked reluctant, door cracking. His face, red-rimmed, furious, cracked my heart. It wasn't. We didn't plan. Save it. He slumped against the frame, voice small. Just. Why him? Why now? When I'm finally not alone in this hell. I stepped closer, risking the space. Because he was my first. Adam. The one who showed me what love could be, even if it broke me. But you might always. This doesn't change that. He searched my eyes, walls crumbling slow. Promise. Swear on your mom. I pulled him in, hug fierce, his body rigid, then yielding, tears soaking my shirt. We stood like that, father and son, mending fractures in the dim hall light. But downstairs, the coffee stained the rug a mark, not erasure. And outside, Ethan's taillights faded, leaving questions in the dark. The next weeks were a tightrope, Adam and I navigating minefield mornings. Conversations clipped but thawing, like spring mud under tires. He skipped the open mics, holed up writing essays on queer theory for his prof, a woman who'd become his reluctant mentor, while I doubled down on school, prepping a unit on Stonewall with a fervor bordering obsession. Ethan texted sparse, thinking of you both. Here if needed. I replied polite, distant, the kiss of phantom ache I poked it in quiet moments. wondering if redemption came in second chances or just more scars. Then came Thanksgiving, our first without Sarah's turkey brine ritual. The table set for two amid autumn, leaves carpeting the yard like regrets. Adam suggested inviting Ethan. Casual over breakfast, neutral ground, right? Like family therapy with pie. My gut nodded. You sure? Last time was a shit show. My bad. He shrugged, but his eyes held steady. I overreacted. You're allowed a life. Dad. Even if it's weird as hell. Weird. Understatement for the man who'd upended my world twice over. But I agreed, texting Ethan a cautious yes. He arrived with pies from a Soho bakery, pecan and pumpkin, flaky crusts evoking Thanksgiving's past, and a house filled with his easy chatter, diffusing tension like smoke. Adam grilled him on architecture. Ever design a safe space? Like, literally. And Ethan spun tales of queer communes in the 90s, his laugh drawing Adam out, forging bonds over mashed potatoes and my lumpy gravy. By firelight later, wine mellowing edges, truths surfaced gentle. Ethan shared his regrets, the marriage facade, the therapy marathons unpacking abandonment fears rooted in his preacher dad's fire and brimstone sermons. I left you because I couldn't face me, he admitted. Gaze on me across the flames. Thought distance would fix it. Idiot move. Adam nodded. Thoughtful. Sounds familiar. I ghosted Jake for the same reason. Better to bail than get hurt. The vulnerability hung. A bridge extended. Dad's been my rock. Though, even when he was faking it, I winced, but squeezed his knee. Learning curve. Kid. Still am. The night ended warm. Hugs at the door. Ethan lingering a beat too long. His hand brushing mine. Proud of you. Nate. Both of you. Driving off. He left a chill in his wake. But also possibility. Fragile as frost. Winter deepened. Boston blanketed white. And the thaw accelerated. Adam landed an internship at a local LGBTQ plus center. His confidence blooming like crocuses under snow. Dates now. Real ones. With a grad student named Riley who quoted Auden and kissed him stupid in coffee shops. I watched, chest swelling, even as envy nipped, his ease in a world I'd only glimpsed from afar. Ethan stayed, orbiting closer, coffee runs turning to walks along the Charles, bundled against wind whipping off the river. We talked everything. Politics, his Bernie rants clashing my pragmatic Dem size. Books, him pushing Call Me by Your Name. Me countering with Giovanni's Room. The slow unraveling of barriers. One sleety afternoon, under the Longfellow Bridge, he stopped, breath clouding. Nate, this, us, if you'll have it. The question trembled. Raw. I thought of Sarah, her blessing imagined in every gust, of Adam, thriving despite my stumbles, of the boy I'd been, silenced by fear. Yeah, I whispered, pulling him close, but slow. For him. For me. Our first real date was mundane magic, dim sum in Chinatown, then a matinee of Rent revival, hands clasped in the dark, laughing through tears at echoes of our hidden lives. Home. Adam waited with takeout and a grin. How'd it go? Lovebirds? Spill. We did. Over egg rolls. His teasing laced with genuine joy. You're glowing. Dad. Suits you. But joy's shadow loomed. Mid-February. Ethan's firm called him back. Big project. Manhattan skyline waiting. 6 months. Tops, he said over wine at our place. Adam out for the night. Then I'm yours. Full time. The words thrilled. Terrified. And if it's more, your life's there. Friends. Career. He cut my face. Thumb tracing jaw. You're here. That's home. The kiss deepened. Promises sealed. But doubt whispered, what if he runs again? March brought the storm. Adam discovered the letters, Ethan's Reno note, tucked in my desk drawer with Sarah's rings. Relics I'd hoarded like talismans. He confronted me at dawn, paper crumpled in fist, voice quaking. You kept this? After everything? He destroyed you. Dad, and now you're letting him back in? For what? Some fairy tale redo. It's not. I started, but he cut through. Rage volcanic. Bullshit. I see it, the way you light up, then crash when he mentions leaving. You're repeating history. Blind. Mom deserved better. I deserve better than watching you shatter again. Adam, listen, but he stormed out. Tires spinning gravel, leaving the note like shrapnel. Ethan arrived hours later, sensing the fracture. He knows. I nodded, handing him the paper. His face paled, regret carving deep. My fault. I should have burned it. No. Mine for hiding. We sat amid the wreckage, the house echoing empty. He thinks you're poison. That I'll break. You pull me close. Fierce. Then prove him wrong. Fight for this. For us. The call came at midnight. Adam's Civic wrapped around a pole on Star Drive, hydroplaning in the downpour. Minor injuries, concussion, bruises, but the ER wait was purgatory. Ethan and I pacing fluorescent halls, hands clasped white-knuckled. When they wheeled him out, groggy and bandaged, his eyes found mine first. Dad. Sorry. The letters. I was scared. I collapsed at his bedside. Tears hot. Me too. Kid. But we're okay. All of us. Ethan hovered. Tentative. Until Adam extended a hand. Don't leave him hanging. New York. He's all I've got. Ethan gripped. Voice thick. Wouldn't dream of it. Spring unfurled gentle after. Rehab walks in the common. Adam leaning on us both. Ethan's remote work stretching months into permanence. A Beacon Hill apartment scouted for 3. Pride weekend. We marched together, Adam waving a flag high. Ethan's arm around my waist. The crowd a roar of belonging. No grand gestures, just quiet victories, breakfasts lingering, nights tangled in limbs and laughter. Secrets aired like laundry in the sun. One evening, porch swing creaking under stars. Adam joined us, beer in hand. To second acts, he toasted, clinking bottles. And dads who finally get it right. I pulled him close, heart full to bursting, the boy I'd raised, the love I'd reclaimed, the family forged from fractures. America, with its hypocrisies and hopes, had taught us harsh. Love demands courage, not perfection. And in that messy grace, we'd found our way home.